This video is sponsored by our friends at ESR. Can I replace all of these devices with just an iPad? I'm going to be using just an iPad for the day and trying to complete these tasks, which range from simple stuff like setting a morning alarm to stuff that I don't really know how I'm going to pull off, like going for a run or going to the gym. Before we begin this challenge, full disclosure, my iPad is a Wi-Fi only model, so no cellular, so I will be using my phone as a hotspot and also as a camera, but that's it. I won't be touching the phone for anything else. Accessories like cases, keyboards, and mice, they're still allowed. Like the monitor back here, that's still allowed, but that's kind of it. So let's start getting rid of devices. MacBook. Gone. Apple Watch. Gone. iPhone. Gone. I still need this as a camera. Whoops. Okay, so not even an hour into the challenge and we already hit a roadblock because my electric toothbrush, it connects to my phone app. I'm not allowed to use my phone. But that got me wondering, what if I could install the app on my iPad and link my toothbrush to my iPad? Wouldn't that be a much better idea rather than just brushing my teeth like a normal person without the app? Bruh. Okay, the app just downloaded. All right, I can't believe it actually worked. We got the app set up. Wake me up before you go. This was literally the easiest task. I just used Siri to set an alarm and that was it.
It's turned on.
I also set some extra alarms just in case the first alarm didn't wake me up. I am a bit worried about some of the other tasks, the going for a run or using the iPad to get directions on my car. I don't know how I'm gonna run with this big iPad. I mean, what's the worst that can happen?
The next day.
The alarm went off and we're awake. All right, it is 9:23. We have around 15 hours remaining on the timer. Now you might be thinking, bro, how are you propping this iPad up? Huh? The default iPad is lame. It doesn't have a stand. And if you drop it, it's gonna break into a million pieces. So how come you're willing to bring it out and about like there's no tomorrow? Well, I'm glad you asked. Yeah. I'm using the ESR Flip magnetic case from today's sponsor, ESR. The ESR Flip magnetic case features a multi-angle design for all viewing and creative needs, and it's ultra stable on any surface. The magnetic support stand with increased support area ensures stability. Unlike other cases, it also features a really cool portrait view. When you were in 3rd grade, do you remember learning about how triangles are the strongest shape? Well, ESR remembers, so they use a triangle fold design, which offers stability for vertical browsing, reading, whatever you want to do. And the case is super affordable. You're getting a versatile, strong, and stable stand at a budget-friendly price of $22.99. But what about that screen? Well, ESR's got you covered. Literally, with the ESR UltraFit Classic Screen Protector. It uses a simple 2-step application to apply with UltraFit, and the dust removal strip ensures a bubble and dust-free application. I don't know how this works, but it's kind of like magic. It's 2 times stronger than standard screen protectors, and ESR also makes them for the iPhone, so you can check both of them out with the QR codes on the screen right now. Thanks to ESR for sponsoring this video. They're really cool. So be sure to check out their flip magnetic case and their UltraFit screen protectors in the description and the pinned comment below. Alright, now back to the video. Alright, it is 9:23. We have around 15 hours remaining on the timer. I'm gonna do the task of writing my YouTube scripts on the iPad. Like setting alarms, this was a really straightforward task. I use Apple Notes to write all of my scripts, so it was really natural just pulling up Apple Notes on my iPad, connecting it to an external monitor and my keyboard, and then just typing away on it, and the whole thing went pretty smoothly. The script is pretty much completely done. I just gotta write an outro for it, maybe rearrange, rewrite, refine some stuff here. But I was able to write the first draft for the script just on the iPad, so that's pretty cool. Task complete. Write me letters, ink on paper. A little under 14 hours left on the timer. Before I do some work though, I'm gonna go make some food. Make is a strong word. I just boiled some pierogies and called it a day. After eating, I sat down and did a bunch of good old math homework. This is the kind of stuff that the iPad really excels at, mimicking that pen on paper interaction. But you know what the iPad really wasn't meant for? Running, which we're about to do right now. So yeah, going for a run for me is typically an Apple Watch and an iPhone task. I have an app on my phone called Map My Run that I use to track like where I go on my run and like how long and how far I've gone. And then I set a workout on my Apple Watch to track my heart rate and stuff. This thing obviously doesn't have a heart rate sensor and it's not exactly the most wristable device, but we're gonna try to do a 1 kilometer jog, sprint, walk sort of thing with the iPad. And I also want to use the iPad to take pictures of nature and stuff. And that's typically an iPhone task. The app I use is called, it's called Map My Run, right? So we're gonna install that right now. So it does work. I can choose my activity, run, treadmill, group run. I guess I can track my run like this. It's a beautiful day today. This just makes me want to jump and joy and frolic in the fields, you know? And it is 2:28 and we have around 10 hours on the timer left, 10 hours, 30 minutes. I really took the iPhone's bright OLED screen for granted because it is kind of hard to see the screen. Okay, I'm in the shade, so it's a lot easier to see the screen now. Let's start the workout. Oh, wait. Yeah. Oh, okay. Okay, workout started. Let's get to jogging. Running with the iPad was actually not as bad as I thought it would be. I was able to tuck the iPad under my arm and just kind of run like normal. So update, running with the iPad actually hasn't been terrible. It's not too heavy, not too big either, it's pretty light. Overall, the weather was just fantastic for running, and I was able to get a couple photos as well, although it was very hard to see the iPad screen in the bright sunlight. I decided to bike back home, and I was surprised to see that the app that our bike share program uses also works on the iPad. No way this works. It worked. I'm just gonna keep the iPad in here. I hope it doesn't fall. I don't think it would fall. Alright, let's head back home. Look really how beautiful it is right now. I guess I can run with an iPad. So, we just ran 2 kilometers with the iPad. I'd say that is a task complete. Wow, I am so glad I'm back in the comfort of my own home with modern amenities like AC and refrigerated drinks. Oh no, there aren't any drinks. I mean, I could drink the tomato sauce. I guess I could always just drink water. Yeah, right. What am I gonna do? There are no overly sugary drinks for me to consume in this house. Not to worry, because this is a perfect segue into our next task. Using the iPad to get directions to a grocery store. But not just any grocery store, the grocery store where you save money and live better. Walmart.
Got my driver's license last week.
It's getting really hot in the car, so I'm gonna roll the windows down so I can explain what the task is. So I know there's a Walmart in Hamilton, I just don't know where that Walmart is. So I'm gonna use my iPad as a GPS and connect that to my car and have Siri or Google Maps or whoever read the directions out to me. And typically when I'm driving, I also listen to music on my phone, so we're gonna try to play music from my iPad this time through my car speakers by connecting it with this USB-C cable. This is going to be an interesting task, and I will be mindful of road safety. I will not be touching the iPad or holding my iPhone to film while I'm driving, obviously. I literally have "Don't break the law" written in the notes for this task. All right, we'll connect the iPad. So the iPad is connected to the phone hotspot. Now let's pull up the Google Maps app. So the closest Walmart looks like it's in 4.8 kilometers on Upper James Street. So it should be a 19-minute drive. So I've got the map set up on the iPad. Touching this is a no-go while driving, and I'm probably going to be mostly relying on the voice navigation built into the Google Maps app. Okay, right now it's not connecting to audio. It is connected to Bluetooth. I connected it via the settings app on my iPad to the car. However, audio is still not playing, music is still not playing. So we won't be using the car's head unit. Instead, we'll be using just the iPad speakers, I guess, for navigation. What could possibly go wrong? So I guess I'll just be using my iPad speakers for the navigation voice thingy, and we'll be listening to some copyright-free bangers so I don't get a copyright claim on this video. Oh, I'm stupid. I just realized I forgot my wallet.
Turn right onto Main Street West.
Oh, there's the voiceover. I just realized I forgot my wallet at home, so we're gonna have to go home real quick to get my wallet.
A few moments later.
I'm not hearing Siri. Oh well. I feel like I'm in a 2010s gaming compilation right now. Using the iPad for driving directions was quite difficult. For some reason, it kept trying to reroute me, and it was hard to hear the voice guidance since I couldn't connect the iPad to the car speakers.
In 400 meters, use any lane to turn left onto Aberdeen Avenue.
Left onto what avenue?
Head southeast toward Highway 8.
The voiceover would also give directions late, so I'd have to glance at the screen if I wanted to know where I was going to turn at next.
Use the left 2 lanes to turn slightly left onto Claremont Access.
The voiceover was about 5 seconds too late in saying this. I was in a parking lot that directly connected to the Walmart parking lot, but my Google Maps kept telling me to do a U-turn for some reason.
East on Fennell Avenue East, then make a U-turn.
I'm literally already in the parking lot. Why are you telling me to do a U-turn, man?
Make a U-turn.
Well, we made it. I think I'm actually just gonna use my phone and Apple CarPlay when I drive back. The task was not successful. Now I can finally save money and live better. I'm gonna use my iPad as a shopping list. So yeah, unfortunately the iPad was not able to succeed this task, I don't think, because I could not rely on it to get me to Walmart. So I'll be connecting my phone to my car, using my phone for directions and my phone for music. And now there's only one task left, the gym task. We're gonna take the iPad Air to the gym. I've always just brought my phone and my Apple Watch to the gym. I've never brought an iPad. So I will be using this guy to track my workouts and stuff today. I feel like it's not gonna be as difficult as running with the iPad because I don't have to actually carry this. I can just set this aside next to my machine or whatever I'm using. So yeah, last task, gym time. I'm on the elliptical right now. The iPad's a little too big. It's blocking the entire elliptical screen. But we can just do a quick start. And I guess we can workout track on the elliptical screen. So our workout tracking, because the iPad doesn't have its own heart sensors and calorie counters and whatnot, our workout tracking will literally just be taking a picture of this cardio machine once we're done the cardio. We can take a picture of this. I did a couple more machines and then headed out. I would have stayed for longer, but I realized I had a math assignment due in 2.5 hours, so I headed home to wrap that up. After I got home, I finished my math assignment, chilled for a bit, hopped on a FaceTime call, and before I knew it, it was 12:57 a.m. Ta-da! I wonder how much battery the Apple Watch has lost just sitting there. So 49%. So it's good to know that the Apple Watch can last 24 hours if you just don't use it at all. How about the Mac? How are we doing? Wow. Okay, so that was 24 hours with the iPad. Honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought, and it was kind of a nice break from my phone because I didn't have to use my phone for 24 hours. It was definitely a lot harder to doom scroll on my iPad. I don't think I did that much doom scrolling actually because I don't even have Instagram installed on my iPad. And if I want to get to Instagram on my iPad, like for messages or whatnot, then I have to go onto the Instagram website. Normally on my phone, when my brain's all rotted, I just go on Instagram whenever I'm bored or whatnot. It's less of a conscious decision with my phone. But on my iPad, every time I want to check social media, I have to consciously put in Instagram.com, which made it a lot more intentional. Now I do have a couple confessions to make. I won't be touching the phone for anything else. I did have to go on my phone, I think like 1 or 2 times during this challenge. Once because I took my phone off airplane mode because I was afraid of missing calls and stuff, and I got a notification from my landlord on WhatsApp. And there's no WhatsApp for the iPad, and if I were to go on WhatsApp on the web, then it would have asked me to use my phone to verify anyways. So I just responded to my landlord on my phone in the WhatsApp app. Literally the day after I did this challenge though, WhatsApp for the iPad comes out, so I just waited one more day, I would have been able to do WhatsApp on my iPad. And I also checked my phone in the parking lot at Walmart, and I used it to get directions to get home. I know, I'm a fraud. I'm very sorry. But honestly, for most tasks, it was fine. It was a really good computer, and even running with it, I thought it'd be a big hassle carrying around the iPad, but the iPad Air's somewhat lightweight, even with like a case. The case is really light as well, so it wasn't that much of a hassle carrying the iPad around. And even its size, 11 inches, running with that is kind of manageable, but it's not too convenient moving it around though. Like I can't put my iPad Air in a pocket, so I normally just like have to hold it out and about in my hand. Or when I was biking, I had to put it in the front bike basket and it was bumped around a lot. Thankfully the case protected it, so there's no damage, but yeah, the iPad Air is pretty big. It's a bit janky to carry around, but honestly, I could see this challenge going a lot better with like an iPad mini, because an iPad mini is approaching pocketable size. But yeah, this experiment shows just how versatile the iPad as a device is. It can kind of replace an iPhone, it can kind of replace a Mac. Like this would be a lot harder of a challenge if I did it with just an iPhone or just a Mac. That gives me an idea. Oh well, another time. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks to ESR for sponsoring this video. Be awesome and stay techie. Bye! Not to worry, because this leads me perfectly into my next task. Is it Segway or Seg? It's pretty light. After all, this is called the iPad Air, right?